before we get started, does anyone have a wallet on them? A wallet. Okay, great. Can you just reach into it, open it up? Okay. All right. See, do you have any 20s in there? Can you see? No? Can you give me one? All right, the reason I bring that up is that sharing does not come naturally to us. And in fact, the New England Journal of Medicine just created a hub on data sharing. I don't know if you've seen this, but they kind of catalog all their stories on data sharing and the lack of collaboration, the lack of willingness to share data in clinical trials, to share data. And yet, of all the things that MMRF have done, the really impressive thing is the way you've changed the culture of sharing.
So we all met as part of an MMRC meeting, and we said, how would we ever go about sharing the data? And it was going to require the MMRF with the MMRC sites to actually fund our own data set. And if we were putting the $40 million into it, and we made the rules by which everybody would play, then that data would get out into the public domain. And it was probably the hardest thing we've ever done. And it was actually WashU that became the first academic center to sign on and to be willing to do the COMPASS study. And then, interestingly, every attorney from the other academic center called and asked, could they have the WashU language so that they could follow in that path. Sometimes you find the right person at the right center that's willing to do the right thing, or the right person at the right company. And you need that first mover. Once you get a first mover, it's easier to get the second and third movers. I could count the number of myeloma doctors when I was diagnosed on one hand, but fortunately they were actually really great myeloma doctors, and we all really needed each other.
When you were first diagnosed and you were looking for second opinions and you said, I'm going to see Bill Bensinger at the Hutch, what your doctor said, oh, can you take notes for me?
That's right. I remember back then there were no research foundations. Foundations didn't look anything like the MMRF. They were mostly doing policy work or support groups or things like that. People weren't doing science. I moved into that direction because of a pharmaceutical background. But the joy was that the people that were out there, it was, you know, Rafael Fonseca, and it was Keith, and it was Bill Dalton. And these were men that really did want to create a collaborative network. So those four men worked side by side with me and with the attorneys to walk down the hall and say, we're doing this clinical network and you have to get behind the MMRF.